Yo, welcome everybody. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to TCR Trinity Competitive Racing.
Well, TCR TJ is the Season 13 Golden Class Champion for Trinity Competitive Racing.
Oh, let's go, dude! Yes!
Jabbar on the podium! He's on it by a 10! Gentlemen, side by side through one. And silent, and Liveries gets a half spin.
Let's fucking go!
Wheel bumping. DRS enable, let's do it. And Captain Blade battling it out for position. Captain Blade. Ickle, what the? Then McChicken goes around and he also makes
rewind down the front straight. Oh my god.
I gotta check the heart rate.
Why do we do this? Because of nights like this.
Go. Yes, sir. Yo, welcome everybody to TCR Trinity Competitive Racing, and welcome to the Racing Debrief, and welcome back to the Racing Debrief. We took a little bit of an off period from the podcast, but we are back with the new TCR season 15. The new F1 season of 2023 is about to start as well, and we are back with a new and better season of the podcast. So this will be episode 1 of season 2. It's TCR's podcast where we combine the world of e-racing, sim racing, and TCR with real life motorsports and Formula One. A true racing enthusiast listen. I'm your host, C. Freeze, alongside my producer, D'Angelo, as always. And we have a special guest for the first episode here on a return. 3-time now Platinum Class Champion, Tasmanian Devil or Beaton. Welcome everyone back to the podcast, and we have a fun one today.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're going to be looking at some car launches and liveries, if I'm not mistaken. So should be interesting.
Yes, sir. And D'Angelo, welcome.
Yeah, it feels good to be back. It's been a long off season, but back with ranking the real life F1 liveries, and TCR is only a little over a week away at this point. So very exciting stuff.
Good times. Honestly, we kind of followed the TCR season, F1 season kind of is starting right at the same time. So it's kind of cool to get that hype into F1, both in league racing and viewing in F1. So it's a great time for all of us here. But today we're gonna rank. We're all gonna come up with their own top 10 list of the F1 car liveries that were launched throughout the last 2 weeks or so. We're going to give our own opinions of it and just kind of give our thoughts on what is kind of the worst livery to what is the best. But before we start that, I wanted to just say one little hot take on the car liveries this year, because it kind of got me thinking. I know we kind of talked about this in the Discord a little bit, but this year we see a little bit more not black paint, but just carbon exposed in a lot of the liveries, and that's kind of been a theme this year in a lot of the car launches, and that's mainly due to the fact of you're trying to save the weight from the car paint, so you can get lower on the minimum weight. And a lot of teams have tried to take paint off the car, and personally, I'm not a huge fan of this at all, because it gives teams, as we'll get to, Mercedes, pretty much just took all the paint off their car and went to a fully black carboned car. And it's kind of an advantage for them for the weight, I guess you can say. And I really do think that, I don't know how much of an advantage it is. I know in F1 you're looking for even the smallest little advantages, but I really think that every car should be painted. Even if it's black, it should be black paint. This way, no team is gaining anything from not painting parts of the car. Everybody paints the exact same portions of the car that they have, and this way it just makes the liveries and the visuals a lot better. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but it's definitely a theme in this year's car livery launches.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm gonna have to disagree with you here.
Really?
Yeah, personally, I don't mind it too much. I think it's just a matter of how the teams go about implementing it into their liveries. Um, I'll mention it when we get further down the list, as I have part of that in my criteria, how well the teams kind of blend in the bare carbon with their livery. So, I mean, this is F1, and all the teams are going to do every little thing they can to gain an advantage, whether it's chipping off some paint to save a couple grams or just not painting the car for the most part, like Mercedes. But um, yeah, I mean, that's always going to be a part of the sport. So I've kind of accepted it, and it doesn't really bother me. But yeah, I mean, I can understand why people wouldn't like it, and I definitely see the argument behind why you would want all cars to be painted. But yeah, we can get into that later.
And D'Angelo, did you have any quick thoughts on that?
I'm with Beta. I don't really have a problem with it because it's the same thing. It's trying to find that advantage. Like, F1's a sport of loopholes. Like, you look back at
For sure.
90% of the champions, like, there's been a loophole in a car. 2009 the double diffuser thing. You can just go on and on with different stuff. So I think it's definitely, I mean, it's definitely a weight thing, but it's not really like a technical thing. It's such a simple thing that
Yeah, well, I guess that's kind of why I would say that it's not really a loophole because it's a cosmetic loophole, not like a technical loophole. If it's technical loophole and you're looking for performance out of the car, oh, by all means, do what you like. Remember a few years ago, the Mercedes, they had the DOS system with the wheel. They pulled forward, for whatever that benefited. Loophole was that to me is technical, looking for performance. It's like a cosmetic, almost like a visual that is now turning into a performance. I feel like the visual should be separated, in my opinion. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I don't know. We'll see down the next few years if they continue with all of it. But it's definitely been a theme. But just wanted to throw that out there. If anyone else has any thoughts on it, definitely leave it in the comments or in the Discord. But I think we can get to our list. What do we have for our least favorite number 10 on
I
your
feel
guys' list?
very strongly about mine.
Okay.
AlphaTauri, what the hell are we doing? What in the hell are we doing with this car? Like, take the red away and replace it with white or blue, I'm fine with it. But it's the fact that they added red after they rebranded from Toro Rosso. Like, if they just rebranded back to Toro Rosso colors, I would be okay with it. But what the flipping hell are we doing? There's no place on this car for red at all.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have it number 10, but it is pretty low on my list. For my number 10, I have McLaren.
Ooh,
And
wow.
it's kind of like
all
a
over
similar
the
situation.
place.
Yeah, with the AlphaTauri, it's just the way they've done the whole chipping of the paint with the carbon fiber. It just looks horrible. It's almost like it was an afterthought, and it's so bad. Like the livery before they even chipped away the paint last year was just okay, but now it's taken it from okay to like downright bad. So yeah, no, I don't like it. If all the cars look like that, then maybe I would agree with you, Freeze, about the cars needing to have some paint on them. Because oh my goodness, it's
Well, you know what? I do think a lot of the liveries this year are very similar as to their last year's liveries. Not major changes, but it just seems like all the teams this year, it's just like a duller version. More just dull, like just darker, like weird, like not. I don't know. They just took out more color, and it's just not as good. But I completely agree with D'Angelo. I had AlphaTauri as well for number 10. Now I will say I don't really dislike any car. I don't really love it. I don't hate it, but I don't really care to look at it too much. The
I hate it.
AlphaTauri.
I freaking hate this thing, dude. It
Um,
when I saw it the first time, I was like, "What the fuck?"
yeah, you know what I think really gives it away for me is they have the Italian flag on there, which is like
On
just
the inlets, the outlets of the wing.
in the back wing too, which the green doesn't really match anything. And then you have that other sponsor, Flex Rocks or whatever that is, has orange. So those colors just don't really match well. If it was just the AlphaTauri colors and that the red flashes, I think it'd be all right.
I mean, I can see. God, it's just that red does not go with that blue. It's not dark. It's not a dark enough blue for that red to go with it, in my opinion.
For me, like the red isn't horrible. Like it's not as criminal as the black on the McLaren, in my opinion. But from the front, the car just looks horrible. Like if you look at the car from the front, on the nose, it's like white, and there's just like a solid horizontal line, and it's just immediately transfers to blue. I just think it's like really poorly done. Like it's jarring to me. That's the part I don't like about it the most. But
Let's get off this car before I have an aneurysm, please.
yeah,
Yeah, let's move on. Number 9. For me, I actually had the McLaren, so only one up. I don't really. It's just worse from last year. Like I don't really care for this black, like turquoise bluish, baby blue, the orange. I liked when they had their car a few years ago when it was like mainly all orange and just
2020
like those
and
the
2021.
blue those like blue little triangles kind of at the rear of the car. I really like that livery. I'm not a fan of this. It doesn't look like a McLaren. It just looks so I don't even know what it is. Like it's as far as like brand recognition,
It's the Google car.
literally, and I'm not a fan of it. It literally has Google wheels. I just realized. What the
Yeah, that's
hell?
what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
the Google car.
I
Yeah.
think they did that last year.
They did do it last year,
Yeah.
and I hated it last year, and I still hate it. It's number 9 for me. Like, this is not a McLaren. It is the Google. Like, you might as well rebrand McLaren to McLaren Google. Like,
Is there even a McLaren like anything on it?
there is
I don't-
nothing McLaren on this car.
I don't
Yeah.
even see their logo. Where's their logo?
That's what I'm saying. There's no
Honestly-
McLaren on it.
My guess is that Google is keeping their lights on at night. That's like, there's no way they're like taking that much like Google Chrome and all that crap all over the car, unless it's absolutely like necessary. Because oh my goodness, it's so bad.
Yeah,
Google-
I'm not
Google
a
needs
fan
more
of
money.
that. Definitely not. And what's going on at the rear of the car as well? Is that like those things you scan, like the QR code?
It's a QR code at the back.
Is it actually though?
I don't know.
Looks like it. It's like a QR code brings you right to Google Chrome.
Yeah.
No, I don't like it. But
So
what did
what-
you have, Taz? Because I know you had a 10, but what'd you have for 9?
I'd
AlphaTauri.
be, yeah, the AlphaTauri at number 9.
I can live with it.
Yeah,
Those were interchangeable, honestly.
yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, same here.
Now it gets
Alright.
hard.
All right. Well, all right. Well, cool. Well, we got 2 cars out of the way. We'll never discuss them again. And
I feel bad for the people who get to drive those in F1 next year, or in TCR.
Oh, not me. Number 8. Okay.
I had Williams.
Williams. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of the whole roll hoop Duracell battery type thing.
Oh, okay.
It's clever, but it just looks stupid. And then like
Especially
other
that
than
blue.
that, yeah, like the livery itself, like Duracell battery roll hoop aside, it's just all right. Nothing really special about it. Not particularly bad, but nothing really good about it either. So
Yeah, I
Very
also
similar last year.
I also
You
had
had
I had Williams at 8 as well.
really? Wow. Oh, I'm
Yeah,
disagreeing heavy on this one. I'll
it's
wait to
just
get
like
to mine.
I feel like it's the exact, like literally the exact same car from last year. I mean, I know there's other ones like it, but like again, the Duracell battery thing I just noticed, and it's kind of dumb. And then it's just like the blue. I mean, they try to add like shapes in it and everything in the back by the engine bay or whatever it's called. They kind of try to be creative with shapes and everything, but it's just like it's just boring.
Yeah,
There's
I
also
think
not a
that's
lot of
probably the
sponsors
best.
either.
Yeah, there's not many sponsors, although there was a lot of like rumors about them having more of a golf livery because the golf is now on the car, but it seems like they just have their logo. They didn't really do much with it, which you know what, I kind of like that that they didn't really go with, oh, let's change our livery to look like the sponsor because it it kind of like we've seen like what Haas do it one year with Rich Energy, and we've seen Racing Point when they had the pink livery, and then it just kind of like loses your own brand identity of like what that team actually is, and it just you pretty much just sell your whole team to the sponsor. And then what happens next year? Oh, they leave you or they leave the sport, and then your car completely changes. So um, I actually do like the Williams, but I'll get to that later. My number 8 is the Alpine. Where's the Alpine? Let me see. Um, I really enjoyed their last year's livery. I know it's not much different, but this is one that I'm not a fan of them removing that little section at the back with that carbon being exposed. I feel like last year's car looked a lot better with the blue rather than the black, and then the only reason they took that section off is to save a little weight. So it's not like I hate it, um, but I definitely don't like it more than last year. But it's definitely a really nice livery in my opinion. But it just doesn't smooth. It's not as smooth as it was last year with that black patch being exposed. Now they do have two liveries. I didn't rank the pink one, but the pink one's cool. It's same deal. You had the pink. They'll run for 3 races to start the season, but they still have that black patch that just kind of like separates the livery. I'm not kind of for that really too much, so I had that at number 8.
Honestly, I think the pink it's not very aesthetically pleasing. Like there are definitely colors that would go better with it, but I think overall, like if you kind of ignore it somewhat, I mean, the overall design is it's pretty good. So I don't have Alpine there. I have Haas there. Um, Kind of like with a similar situation with McLaren, they have more black on the car, but it doesn't look particularly good. It's just I don't know, kind of underwhelming. And
Alpine.
not Alpine Haas.
He said
Oh,
Haas
well,
is
where do
That's
you where do you
yeah.
have Haas?
That's my
7.
number 7.
Oh,
Yeah,
7. Oh, okay, cool.
yeah. Um.
I also have it at 7.
Oh wait, were you talking about your number 8?
I was at 8. Yeah, I had
He was still
Alpine
at
at
8, but
8.
we had already gone. We had already gone. It's fine.
You guys had Williams. I had
Yeah.
Alpine at 8. And
Oh,
7,
okay.
I have Haas. I do have Haas.
Right. I lost track of the order there. My bad. But
No,
yeah,
you're good.
my number 7 was the Haas. It's yeah, the black just doesn't do it for me. I prefer the primary color being white and just having like the red accents. I think that's clean and it works well. So I don't really understand why they went away from that.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of I think it was the 2018 and 2020 car of Haas. I really like those two. I believe it was those 2 years. Those traditional Haas colors of the red, the white, and that kind of like a gray-ish color, not necessarily black as predominantly in this one. I do like, however, I don't love it, I don't hate it. It is a little underwhelming from the side view. Although head on, the straight on from the front wing to the rear wing, you see almost all white. You don't see almost any black, and that's kind of. I like how liveries do that. It was a few years ago. It was the Renault. You looked at it from the side, it was all, I think, black, and then you looked at it from the front wing angle, and it was all yellow. And it's kind of the same thing here. So I like that they have the front of it looks really good. The red on the MoneyGram and the Haas logo and the red white all the way up. I feel like the side pod, it doesn't. It's like too much black and doesn't really. I don't know. It doesn't flow as nice as maybe the last few years. So a little underwhelming, but I still like the livery.
That's fair.
I have I have Alpine in my 7. So basically for the reasons that y'all say, like even the pink and the black with the carbon back there just doesn't do it. And like honestly on the blue one, I don't like that little Microsoft on the wing there.
Oh, they got Microsoft.
Yeah, I don't like that. It's just it feels forced on there.
Where's the Microsoft?
On the wing.
Oh, okay, I see it. Yeah, that is kind of forced.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I don't like that. That's a little forced.
Yeah.
It's just Alpine's delivery last year was like top 5 at least, and now it's just like bleh.
Yeah. Yeah, it took a step backwards for sure. All right, cool. Well, we kind of agree a little bit, very, very similarly. 7, we did. Now number 6.
I have Haas in my 6.
Haas in your 6.
Yeah.
Same reasons. How do you feel about the Haas?
I agree. Like I like the white better, like when the white was the primary and not the secondary. But I do like because it's not like the black is all it's not carbon fiber. It's actually painted, which is good. And I kind of like it. I do kind of like the white like strip down the front and everything. But it's just like there are just so many better liveries, in my opinion. It's just like
It could have been tweaked a little bit, maybe.
yeah, I feel like they could have added more white. Like I feel like they could have brought the white all the way back, at least on the top, to the engine bay, and had black outline or black filled number on the car instead of it being white, and just have the whole like top of the car white, and on the sides stay black.
Now let me ask you this: since you said the black on the car is painted on, do you think at any point during the season, if they're really looking to lower their weight, do you think they'll take the black off and make it exposed carbon?
I wouldn't be surprised, but I feel like it'd be. Honestly,
Okay.
don't know. I feel like Haas is one of those teams. It's like we're gonna do it the right way and actually paint everything.
Yeah, right. They would be the team to do that.
Goddamn Americans.
All right. Taz, what'd you have for 6?
For 6, this might be controversial, but I had a Red Bull. Honestly, the livery itself isn't bad, but it's getting to a point where it's like, all right, it's the same thing every year. Like you could at least change it up a little bit, because I think like when they changed it from like the kind of there's kind of like a bit of purple and light blue from like 2015 to like 2010ish.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the exact
Purple light.
timeline, but that's what they had Infinity as a sponsor. I like that livery quite a bit, and I think the change in 2016 was actually a downgrade. Not a major one, but still a downgrade nonetheless. And it's been the same for
Since
literally like it's been the same since I was in the 8th grade, and now I'm in college. So but
I
yeah.
actually I agree though. I also had Red Bull at 6. I don't really know what much changed from last year. I don't really I do like the Red Bull liveries. I liked it more in the previous years. I feel like something's definitely changed. That's like there's less towards the engine cover at the back. It looks like there's just less of that bull. and like just I know there's a bunch more sponsors on it, and it seems like just less pop to that livery that they've always ran. Another thing is whatever sponsor that is, the Rybit or whatever on the rear wing, I don't like. I feel like it should be Red Bull or Honda, because Honda's still on the car, it seems, on the back, but I just don't like that sponsor's there.
Yeah, that's Honda back there. I can see.
Yeah.
A little bit of the placements of certain of the sponsors don't really like. Just seems crowded to me, and not. I don't know. I don't hate it. It's just it seems crowded and just it does seem different from last year. I don't even. I gotta pull up from. I gotta look what last year's looked like, how different it looked like, but. Let's see. See, like last
Honestly,
year's looked. Oh, you know what? In the last year's car, they did have Red Bull on the rear wing in red, so that's like very little detail. But last year's car popped a little bit more with the Red Bull. Yeah, it looked good back then. What happened?
They trying to get all that sponsor money.
Yeah, it just looks crowded to me. I don't know. Still good, but
I feel like
the way I see it, it's like over the years they produced so many really good like pre-season liveries. Like you kind of have like the camo bull,
yeah,
the little. I think they did like two camo liveries almost. There was like the white and black, and then there was like the blue
they have
and
the
the
they have the white one that they ran last year and in 2021.
with Honda,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It was actually in the game.
Yeah, they're running it again at Japan this year.
It's like you guys have made so many good liveries, but you've never like taken the time to change what you're running like every single year and
Like your
make
main.
that one like properly good. So yeah, it's just I don't know. It's kind of underwhelming because the designers like they knock it out of the park every time they do like a one-off design, but when it's like the main car, it's like there's no creativity at all.
Yeah, I feel like they could definitely rebrand it as well, since now they won the Constructors' Championship last year, which was their first. They won the.
Since
Max got the two.
2013.
Yeah, they had the two drivers, but the first time they won the Constructors, you'd think maybe they'd do a little bit something different, but no, they kept it completely the same. I was gonna say, as far as the liveries go, they're gonna do. I believe Red Bull's doing 3 unique liveries throughout the entire. Oh, for all the American races that they're
Yeah,
going
they're
to
doing that one, and then they're running the white one for Japan
for
again.
Japan. But the thing with the American liveries, I think they're choosing the livery based off of a fan's design. You have to submit it, and they're going to choose the best design, which
It's
is going to be
American-
weird.
It's going to be
how-
American fans only too.
Oh, really? Oh,
I think
okay.
so. Well, that would make the most sense. I don't know if they've actually said that, but I think.
Discrimination lawsuits coming in. Watch out.
Well, it'd make the most sense because it's in America. So.
Yeah. But
America.
yeah, and then you had. So we all did 6, right? We're good then.
Yeah, I had Red Bull in 5. I mean,
And how do you feel with the Red Bull?
I'm a Red Bull fan, and I understand what you guys are coming from, but my thing is, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, I know they changed, like, I feel like they should have kept the Red Bull on the rear wing, and that's kind of thing, but the Red Bull car for the past, like, 6-7 years has always been crowded with sponsors. Like, it always has, so I really don't have a problem with it. It's like, I have it 5 because it hasn't changed, but it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I agree. And you know what? And they are crowded with sponsors. Every year it seems like, a few years ago they had Aston Martin, they had Acura, Honda, Oracle, Tag Heuer.
Back in the Vettel days, Infinity.
Yeah, all these men, like they have all these Oracle, all these. I think they had AT&T, and man, they're all constantly changing all of that. But yeah, it's all right. Taz, what'd you have for 5? I think we might agree with this one.
We won't. Because you put Alpine at what, number 7?
8. Oh, is this your Alpine?
7 or yeah, you had it at number 8. Yeah, I had Alpine at number 5.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, kind of like what I said before. The pink, it's not great, but it kind of works with the blue. And like, there could be like better color combos with the blue, but sponsor restrictions. But like that aside, it's quite a nice livery, and like even with the bare carbon, it still looks pretty nice. So I think it's pretty solid.
Fair.
He backed it up.
Yeah, for sure. Number 5, I placed the Alfa Romeo. I know a lot of people really enjoyed this livery, and I do too. That's why it's in my top 5. I just have other cars above it. I like that nice red they got on the car. I'm just not a huge fan of the black piece near the I guess it's the exposed carbon again. I feel like it disrupts the flow a little bit, but then again, it is also a sponsor restriction because I believe the black is there for that stake logo, whatever that is.
Yeah, I think their actual logo is white. Like the sponsor's logo is white. So
white, so they couldn't keep the white.
There's
Okay.
2 of them there. There's a smaller one just above the bigger one.
Yeah, I see it on the mirror as well.
Yeah.
The mirror, I see it in the rear wing. I see it in the front side wing. I like it. I do also like on the rear view, they have the I believe it's the Italian flag on the rear wing, which I really do like. I do like this red. I think there's been better Alfa Romeo liveries, I think, since they entered the sport. I think they had some really nice ones. I do enjoy this one. I just don't have it as high as other people have it, mainly due to that black in that front where the side pod is. If they had that, either the red or white, and then everything else stayed the same, I would really, really enjoy it. But it's a very solid livery. So, yeah, it's 5 for me. And 4. What do you guys got? Anyone have the Alfa Romeo at 4?
Yeah, I do.
All right, what do you got?
I think like over the past few years, Alpha has just been putting out some pretty good liveries. Like I really like their 2021. I think like 2020 to 2023 have all been bangers. But yeah, I think it's kind of like a reverse of what they did last year. How they had like the red and white, and now it's red and black, and I think it just works really well. Red and black pretty much work with almost any color, so it's a bit of a no-brainer in my opinion. So yeah, it works, and I like it.
I have the good old Aston Martin at 4. I have it at 4 because like
I'm upset about this. I'm upset, but go ahead.
Shut up.
Especially
I
since you're going to be driving it with me.
Hey man, it's not about what the car looks like, it's about how it does, okay?
You're right.
I don't know what it is, like, I like the color green, but I don't like... It feels like there's a lot... This color green just kind of weirds me out. I don't know why.
Oh, makes you awkward. Makes
yeah. Because it's not...
Gotcha.
It doesn't really look like a green. Honestly, it looks more like going towards the teal side, and it kind of bothers me. And also, there is exposed carbon fiber everywhere now that I'm looking at this picture closer. There's it on the wing. I see it on the rear wing too. I think that's no, by the small Aston Martin on the left side there. Yeah, it's carbon fiber. There's a lot more carbon fiber exposed than I can care to look at. Even on the little tire looking things, I think there's some. But yeah, I don't know. It's just the green weirds me out. Because it's not like it's like it's not a real green in my opinion.
Yeah, well, that's like that. What do they call it? The like the British.
Yeah, British green.
Yeah. Interesting take. So D'Angelo's he's just got a thing on green colors. So
yeah,
maybe he's
it's
colorblind.
It's not my forest. It's not my forest green. Okay, man.
You like the darker, more.
I love the dark forest green.
Fair enough, I guess. And what number was that for?
4.
4? You had it.
Still in my top 5, man.
All right, making sure. What'd you have, Taz, for 4?
Oh, I talked about it already. It was the Alfa Romeo.
Oh, okay, yeah, the other. All right, I actually had the Mercedes. Where is it? Let me see it. I actually really like this car livery. I like that they kind of went back to the black, and I like the Lewis Hamilton's livery better, not, mainly because it's got the neon yellow all around, and I'm not sure 100%, but I'm pretty sure that's like a tribute to what was it, who's the Valentino is his name?
Yeah, Valentino Rossi.
Yeah, when he retired, they did the seat swap, and that neon yellow is his signature color, and Hamilton's kind of took that the last few years. So I think the yellow looks beautiful with the black. I like that they went back to it, and they're getting a big advantage from it as well with the weight. The nice swoosh of that turquoise is perfect as always, and the yellow just works really well. And you got the camera on the top has that same yellow, so I think it just works really well. I think Russell's got the bluish color, I believe. Still good, but I think that Hamilton's works a little bit better. And yeah, it just looks like mean. I like it. I don't know. I'm a fan of it.
It's interesting you say that because you were just complaining about the liveries having bare carbon, and that car is like it has
Well,
carbon in it.
yeah, well, you know what? I think it just works a lot better for the Mercedes car
Yeah.
because they're able to do an all black livery. But then you look at teams like McLaren or Alpine, and you can clearly see they just took out certain part of the car just to not paint it to save weight. But it doesn't really work with their cars as good. So yeah.
It's all about the execution.
Yeah, no, you're right. But I still would prefer it not be I would prefer it not to be done solely for the fact of gaining an advantage just on the way you paint your car or painting your car. It just seems a little like, oh, if you're gonna win on, if you're gonna gain an advantage, at least do it technically, not by the artist. But that's just
it is still technical, to be honest, and it's not like a massive advantage. It'd probably be only like a couple 100 grams. I don't think it would be like anything more than a kilo max. So
yeah,
I think it'd be something minuscule.
very small. It's not gonna break a championship car or not.
not like we dropped like 20 kilos from scraping off all this paint.
It's just although it does allow them to have a little, maybe other pieces on the car that would give them performance by not, painting or whatever, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It is what it is. We'll see how it goes in the future years, but yeah, you're not going to see every car go black. It wouldn't make sense, but but for them it works really well, so I like the livery. So we did 4. Everybody did 4?
Yes.
Yep.
All right, 3. I'm gonna go because you guys both talked about it. I had the Williams. I had the Williams way higher up. I actually really like the Williams, mainly due to the fact of it's like almost all painted. I just like painted cars. Okay, it's just a personal thing. I like the livery, all blue. The little swooshes of light blue, the dark blue. I don't know. I just kind of think it's good shades of the colors. Even the red, it's not like too much red, but it just enough works. And I actually really like the Duracell. I think a lot of people do like the Duracell. I think Taz, maybe you just weren't a fan of it, but a lot of people do
It looks a little
the
dumb.
battery. I don't know about that. I think it's kind of well executed, and it's funny. And honestly, I don't really like just looking at the car. You don't really see it. Oh, it's like a Duracell battery, but it's kind of funny. It's like they're actually powered by Duracell. But I actually really enjoy this one, and I was never really a fan of the old school Williams with the martini, the lines like purely white and just the lines on the side. I wasn't a fan of that. And there was a couple other liveries throughout the years I wasn't a huge fan of, but the last 2 years, it's just a nice livery. I do like it. I think it'll look good on track.
I have the Mercedes at number 3. Good old Mercedes. About damn time you went to all black again, even though it was only 1 year. Like, I don't understand why. Like, once they came out with the all black, they should have just kept it. Like, I don't understand why they went back to the silver era. Like, it made no sense to me.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
especially after just 2 years of it, right?
it's
Or
kind of
1
in
year?
It was 2
their
years,
brand.
2020 and 2021. And then
Yeah.
they went back to the silver, and I'm just like, why? Why? The black, it just looks so good. Also, I kind of do like the teal swoosh, but I feel like it wasn't really needed. I mean, I know that's part of their colors, but I don't really think it was. I feel like if they just made it, like, painted it black, it would look a little bit better and probably higher on my list. But yeah.
Yeah, it's a good take.
Interesting.
What do you
Um,
have for 3? I know you love Mercedes, so you probably have it number 1, but go ahead.
Honestly, yeah. But it was for,
A little spoiler, yeah, it's like number
but
one.
I'll get into it. 'Cause I like black. So, but yeah, I had Ferrari.
3, okay.
And it's really close with my top 3. Like, they're all more or less interchangeable. But yeah, for me, the Ferrari, I really like that shade of red. And I know a lot of people, like, for the Italian Grand Prix weekend, they're really hype about the Ferrari logo being on the rear wing, which I think is a really nice touch. With them adding that. So yeah, I think those are really nice features. The only thing I don't like is that there's kind of like a black square on the side pods, and it just looks stupid. Like, everything else, it works, and it makes sense, but then you just have that black square, and it just kind of ruins it a little bit for me. So yeah, that's my number 3. And, like, if I were to give it like a rating 1 to 10, it'd probably be like a solid 9 for me. So yeah, if they got rid of that black square, it'd probably be like a 9.5, almost a 10.
Nice, I like it. All right, and I'm going to number 2. My number 2 is the beautiful. These top 2 for me could be interchangeable, and I think once I start driving it in the real T-shirt season, I think I'll probably
He's gonna
put it number 1.
swoon all over it.
Once I get, once Freeze hops in, I think I'll like it a little bit more. But I got the Aston Martin. I just think it's a beautiful livery. Nothing has really changed. Maybe minuscule things from last year. It's just what an Aston Martin should look like in F1. It's got the British, green color. It's got that neon green, that color that always goes with it. And the sponsors, man, they're all over the place, and I love that. Just beautiful. I think it's got that gloss finish. It looks like. I'm a huge fan of the gloss. If it really is, I believe it is. Yeah, I really like it. I don't. I just like cars that are almost fully painted, and it just is smooth. And yeah, it was a beautiful livery last year. There's no reason to change it or do anything fancy. And yeah, it's just really good to look at. And I love the sponsor placements as well. I think they did a good job putting mainly all their sponsors are just white um, sponsors. It's no other colors besides the one at the rear, which kind of fits kind of nicely, but it's not like you have other sponsors with their own colors mixing and matching and ruining it. Kind of like the AlphaTauri that we talked about way earlier, or some other liveries as well. But this just does it for me.
Can't argue with that.
What'd you guys have for 2?
My number 2 is Aston Martin.
All right, nice.
Yeah, kind of like what you said already. Just the green, it just works. There's not very much like bare carbon on this one, which I feel mostly indifferent about. But for this car, I don't think like having bare carbon would work. So I think it's great that they didn't do that, or that they didn't have to do that. And yeah, like everything just works. It looks great. Like I literally have like no complaints about the car. It's that good. So yeah, that's my number 2.
That's
And
Fernando Alonso's championship-winning car.
Yeah.
They wish.
3-time champion. Who is it, Verstappen or Alonso?
I had
And D'Angelo?
I had Alfa Romeo at my number 2 because
A little higher up.
I am a sucker for black and red, dude. Like, oh my god, I love black and red like styles. I do kind of agree that I feel like they should have kept the red like all the way through from the like the front of the car all the way back and just kept like the red sides or the black sides. But like I still think it works because I feel like they kind of wanted to go in more of like a because it's a pretty dark red. I feel like they kind of wanted to go in like a stealth, like a kind of like a stealthy route more than anything. But dude, that dark red with that black, it's so good.
I do like the dark red. It's almost like the red that Ferrari used at the. This is a little brighter, but it's somewhat similar to what Ferrari used at their like special Italy race a few years ago, and I really
The
like that
F1,
color.
yeah.
Yeah, but nah, the Alfa Romeo is beautiful as well. I think we have our final one. What do you? You guys can go. What's yours? Number 1, if you can't figure it out.
I guess I'll go first. Kind of like I said earlier, the Mercedes is my number 1. There's a couple of reasons for that. One, I just think like the black, it just looks so mean. Like, oh my god. Like, just imagine that coming up behind you.
And at night too. At a night race, imagine. Yeah. Ooh.
It just looks so good. That, and I think the black on the Mercedes is, even though it's only been on the car for 2 years, it's already iconic. Since, I mean, Lewis, he won his 7th title with that car, or with the black livery in 2020, and then almost won it, his 8th in 2021, but we won't get into the reasons for that happening. And yeah, I just think the black works really well. The silver, of course.
I was just gonna say, with the black, I think also now I'm looking at it, like all the sponsors are all just white placed. It's not like they're doing anything funny with it. The only thing is, I see a little red around the air outlet above the driver's head, which is usually with the Ineos sponsor, but it doesn't. It's like properly placed. Like it makes sense to put it there, but I like that all the sponsors are just like white on black. So it works like really good.
Yeah, I agree. But
I don't know what's on the rear wing because this picture, I don't know what's behind it. But I mean, sometimes races they change things too. Teams throughout the year, like one-off, or they'll tweak it depending on sponsor agreements. But yeah, it looks great.
That leaves for my number. I had a Ferrari number 1.
What's a Ferrari?
And it just looks so. It looks so good. Like, I kind of understand where Taz is coming from, that little like black box, but honestly, it doesn't make much of a difference at all, in my opinion. Like, the red, it's the classic Ferrari red. The black Ferrari logo on the side. It's got the shell over there. It just like. It's definitely the best livery Ferrari's come out with in a long time, in my opinion. Because last year's was kind of, eh.
Just was alright.
At least they got one thing right for this year. They got the livery right.
Well, I'm gonna have to agree with you because it's also my number one. Man, this just is like, talk about mean with the Mercedes, but like, this looks like a mean Ferrari, just black and red. I love the Ferrari on the back. I wish that was in that yellow. I really think that would have been cool. Um, I actually didn't see that little black square box on the side pod that you pointed out, Taz, although it doesn't ruin it for me. It would probably look a lot better in red, but it doesn't ruin anything. The red color is like the perfect shade too. It's like, I know in the last few years they kind of mess around with the red, and whether they go the matte. I believe, is this the gloss or is this the matte finish? It
I
looked
think
like
it's not.
is it matte again? It looked more, I guess because it's the shade, it looked brighter, but nonetheless, it's just, yeah, it's really well done. I just really not many complaints. And again, with the sponsors, besides the shell, and which it works with the yellow sponsor, but there's nothing that's taken away from the red. It's not like you have like a weird sponsor placement that doesn't match the car. But yeah, no, it's a beautiful livery. Beautiful livery. Fun to watch. Fun to look at. Hopefully it's a quick one.
That's why I said at least they got the livery right.
Well, you got to look good at least that.
That is fair.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that'll do it for this one. I hope everyone enjoyed a quick little rundown on the car liveries. Let us know your thoughts and give us your top 10 on your liveries in the comments below, and you could even discuss it more in the TCR Discord server where we are the most active. You can join that. That'll be in the description down below. And TCR is back up and running within the next week or two. Season 15. We still have spots open if you are wanting to join as a reserve, full-time driver, commentator. If you're just interested in keeping up to date, check us out on YouTube where you're seeing this. Where we're going to be streaming those races there, and definitely join the Discord for more access to information. But nonetheless, it's fun times. Glad to be back. Thanks, Taz and D'Angelo. It was a fun podcast with you guys.
Always, always.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And with that, we'll thank you all for watching, and until next week, thanks for listening.